If you've been following along in order of the tutorials, you are now ready to actually create a prospect. So in this lesson, we're actually going to show you how to create and maintain prospect records. I'm logged in as the ADM, but I could be logged in as anybody to access this screen. So I'm going to click on this plus sign beside prospects, and now I'm going to go right to maintain prospect. So if I double click in here, basically at this point I leave the internal number blank when I'm entering a new client. By the way, if there's information in here and you want to create a new one, you need to click on this button over here, on the clear button, so that your screen is like this. And you do not assign an internal number, the system will do that automatically. So I'm going to create a new prospect company, and just because my imagination is fairly bland today, we're just going to call it ABC Company Limited. And remember that this is how it will appear if you use this program to print mailing labels and letters and such. So you want to make sure that you are giving it proper punctuation, or the capitalization is appropriate, and things are spelt properly. And I'm going to go on to street address. So this particular company is at 123 Any Street. Okay, so I'll just put that in here, and they could be at Suite 43 for argument's sake, and maybe I'm going to put them into Toronto. Now the city and the province and the postal code and country are all forced into cap locks automatically, because that's usually a very presentable way to print stuff. So I'm just going to make this data up. If this happens to match your postal code, then I've hit upon a magic formula, I suppose. Anyway, we just go ahead. So I populate the top part with an address. And now I can either, you might notice over here, my save button has gone to a yellow background. Before it looked more like these other buttons with a bluish background. So when it's yellow, it means that there's a save that hasn't been committed to disk yet. I can save it automatically, but at some points it will actually do it for me. For example, if I click on add new contact, it will in fact force a save. You can see my save button has gone back to the regular color, and I can also notice that it has given it a number. So ABC Company Limited is the first prospect we're adding in here. It's like a record number. So I'm clicking add new contact, and under here I'm going to put the contact's name, and once again this would be what would print out on your mailing labels and letters and so on and so forth, so make sure that it's presentable. And you can just see how I can fill this information out. Okay, I can put a fax number down here, and I might do the mailing label if I have it. Okay, and you may recall in one of the earlier lessons we set up what these flags were. So this might be my primary contact and might also be for my purchasing. So I would tick the flags that apply to this particular contact, and when I click the save button here, you'll notice that the contact's name appears over here to the left. If I want to add an additional contact to this record, I can. So I clicked on the new contact, and over here I can just put in the information. Okay, and maybe she's also considered a primary contact in the accounts payable department and in accounting. So I'll tick the flags that make sense, and I'm going to save that again. So by the way, when I save that, I'm getting a pop-up window because I haven't bothered to register this version of the software. When it's registered, you won't get that pop-up window. So here you see I've got my two different contacts, and I can switch between them appropriately. You can add as many contacts as you like. The next tab over is another information, so I can make note of their website if I want, and I can put whatever notes you want to make about the company you can put in here. And when I go to the coding tab over here, it's saved. As I switch between my tabs, it saves automatically, so that's what happened here. So these happen to be the category codes that we set up in the prior lesson, in the previous lesson. So to access it, I'm just going to click on here, And now I can say, well, let's say we do business with them in English. They are a small company who's located in Ontario, and they are a prospect for our VG package like that. So when I tick all the flags that I want and then I click on the close button, they will all pop into this list here. And then later I can go through and I can say, show me all of my small businesses in Ontario, for example, and they will be included on that list. Now for the remainder of this page, the data is actually entered elsewhere, so contact history, pledge history, and donation. These last two tabs, if you purchase this program without the fundraising software, you will not have these two tabs appear. Only if you are licensed for the fundraising component will these appear on your screen. But we'll go furthermore into where you do those. So let's really quickly, we've got one prospect, let's set up another one. So I'm going to start by clearing the screen, and I'm going to type in DEF Company Inc. Once again, you can see my creative juices are just amazing. So this is going to be on Green Street in Newmarket, Ontario. Okay, and that's Canada. I'm just going to add one contact for this one. So this is going to be Kelly Smith. Okay, and primary, maybe this Kelly is everything. This particular one, I'm not going to bother putting anything here, but I could. I'm going to move right to my coding. I'm going to say this is English, Ontario, small, interested in VG prospect again. So I'll just close that, and at this point I'm done. You can see that I now have two prospects in my database. The database can hold 16,711,649 prospects in it. And this concludes the lesson on setting up your prospects.